Service TV Reloaded, and I'm still your host, Miriam Ogeyeme. Today we are looking at women in strategic public service positions, and I have a wonderful guest with me to discuss a lot of things in the public service as far as Edo State is concerned. I call her an Amazon because she's really wonderful. You won't believe the first time meeting with this woman. She's beautiful, she's intelligent, and humility personified. Only her has this quality. I wonder, it could be as a result of her, probably her upbringing. So you get to know more about this person, my guest, as we unravel the program. She earned this distinction in management, innovation, and change from the University of Aberdeen, Scotland, United Kingdom. She received a bachelor's degree in economics from Madonna University, Okija, Nigeria. She also has a postgraduate diploma in marketing from the Chartered Institute of Marketing, United Kingdom. Marketing certification from the London School of Economics and Political Science. She also holds a neuro-linguistic programming certification from IMI Consulting, British Council World Bank Development Knowledge Facilitator certification. A former head, Youth Engagement and Learning at Joopsa'S, Nigeria, and the Pioneer Director General, John Odige Oyebu Public Service Academy. Precious Imu Y. Ajino. Welcome to the program.
Thank you so much for having me.
Now let's begin. What are the challenges you face navigating from the private sector to the public? So what were the challenges you face as a woman?
Thank you so much for that question. I think for me, one of the things I took for granted is how agile private sector systems work. So I think I took the bureaucracy for granted. I work a certain way. I studied innovation. So I expect things to have been done yesterday, not even today. So to come to a system where there's so many processes, you have to, maybe a little bit slow-paced compared to, of course, the private sector. And then things around performance management, which of course, thankfully, we're working around on now in Edo, because I'm also used to being a high performer. And usually when you perform in the private sector, there are things around bonuses, reward. So there are incentives for you to want to do well. So I think for me, it's a bit different.
From the public?
From the public sector, of course. There are nuances, but it's a bit different.
Can you share any strategies or tips for effective leadership and decision making?
I think one of the things around leading people is you need to start with leading yourself. One of the biggest strategies for me is to practice what I preach. I'm a very hard worker, and I think it's really helped me. I can outwork anybody. So when people see that you have your skin in the game, you're not playing, you're not doing lip service, because people are smart. They'll figure you out if you're not being honest. And then they see that this person is really here to work. I remember the first time I resumed, I was told that by 3 o'clock folks go home. I work with gladly civil and public servants. We haven't recruited from outside yet. But they see me in the office. They see me working till sometimes after 6, not like I recommend it, but like I said, I'm a very hard worker. And I found that with time, my staff became about making sure that they get the things done, as opposed to just closing, going home, or not showing up at work and telling me that grandfather that has passed a long time ago just passed again, just so that they can spend some time at home. So I think that for leadership to be true, it must start from self. When people see, and especially for those of us who also raise children, you find that they follow what you do, not what you say. So when people see that you're a doer, it's easier to lead and influence people.
Okay. Talking about being a hard-working person, I can also attest to that you are. Because last Tuesday I was here at the Joopsa'S open house, over 7,000 people
Yes.
since inception. And according to you, you came on board just March, less than a year,
Yes.
and you've been able to achieve all of this. How were you able to put all of this together?
I think in terms of Joopsa'S achievements, I must of course give credit to His Excellency Governor Godwin Obaseki. Number one, in terms of how I was hired, and then giving me room. Because it's one thing for you to want to do things, it's another thing for you to be given the enabling environment to be able to do.
Right.
Yeah, so he did give me plenty room to be innovative, and I'm forever grateful for that. To trust that I could, lead a team to get this work done. I'm also grateful for that. And I think for us, because we spent a lot of time, I was appointed last year, we spent a lot of time with our technical partners, DAI, thinking through our processes, thinking through our governance structure, thinking through the draft bill and all of that. So by the time we were starting in March of 2023, we already had a template. We already had a calendar. It was just plug and play because we knew what it was that we wanted to achieve, and we were very hungry, to have that success.
That's quite amazing. There are women out there. They are so precious, and just like me. The first time I saw you, I was like, this woman is so pretty, and she's intelligent, and you were down to earth. Just your humility moved me to the. I was like, could this be as a result of your upbringing? So can you just shed more light on that? Because these qualities, they are rare to find these very things in one person. You are beautiful, intelligent, and humble. So what is the secret?
Oh wow, thank you so much. And I think I will just give credit to my parents. You're so right. I like to think of my father as one of the most incredible human beings alive. My mom is the same way. And I learned again, just talking about leadership by example, I learned from my parents' example that the person who leads must be a servant leader. To be able to lead, it's a big responsibility. So there's nothing to be proud about. It's a privilege, that I have, and I don't take my privilege for granted. Any other person could have been hired to do this role. His Excellency chose me to do it. I take that as a privilege. I don't take it for granted, and I don't see any reason why there should be any frills or airs about me.
How do you, foster diversity and inclusion within the organization?
So we are inclusive by design. If you look at our building, it's just a 2-story building, but we have a lift. And the reason we have that is because we know that we have learners who would need to be supported in that manner. But beyond that, even as an organization, I'm a female CEO. It's very important for me that there's gender balance. I believe strongly in competence. I believe that competence has no gender. And in that sense, it's very important that I run a diverse organization where people have, where you democratize opportunities. The way we've done training also is to democratize learning. So for example, if you've done the project management class before, you're not allowed to come and repeat it again. Let me explain something that I learned. Okay. I learned that in the past, there were people who only got training opportunities because they were close to their leaders. So they use training as welfare, and then they use training to reward them for job done. But because we are using data, because I don't even know who these people are. So for us is to say that if you keep sending the same people, when we send it to the heads to nominate, and they keep bringing the same people, I write back to say, no, this person has come for training, you need to let. So I've had so many testimonials of people saying that until Joopsa'S, I have never been nominated for a training, and for me, this opportunity must reach everybody. It cannot be for some people and then some people don't have it. So in some ways, we are very passionate about democratizing access to learning in the service.
Okay, so what advice do you have for women aspiring to hold leadership positions in the public service industry?
I think that for us women, especially women who are competent, because there are many of us, I think one of the things that we have to work on is the imposter syndrome. We see a lot of us as women, we struggle with an imposter syndrome. And you tell a man that there's an opportunity, and I come from HR, and I remember one time we were doing interviews, and I was interviewing a woman that was very competent. And when I asked her how how much she was going to earn. I was shocked when she told me, oh, if you pay me 300,000, I'm okay. But a man who had less her certification came and said, if you don't pay me 1 million, then I'm not going to take it. So I had to call her back and use it as an opportunity to say, no, you are selling yourself short. Oftentimes we sell ourselves short. Women need to believe in themselves. I mean, we are creators anyway. There's nothing that you set your mind to do as a woman that you cannot accomplish. And the thing with whether it's private or public sector is excellence is the defining factor. The private sector needs excellence, the public sector needs excellence, and if you're an excellent professional, if you know that you can add value, you can make a change, come into the public sector. Come and prove your worth. Let people know, let people see women, get it done and let them know that it's a woman who did this thing. We need to elect women into offices. We need women leading. We need women in every place where decisions are made in this country, and we need more female participation.
Okay. How do you balance work life and responsibilities while maintaining a high-level career?
Thank you so much. I was listening to the former CEO of PepsiCo when she was saying that a woman cannot have it all, and I agree. Because I remember when I had my kids, my career had to take a back seat. That's the truth. In fact, by the time my son was born, I had to, resign because I could not do exclusive breastfeeding, for example, and then still take care of my child. There were just so many different things. But one of the things that I know I did then was I was doing online classes. I continued to train my mind. I was doing consulting. I ensured that I was staying relevant whilst raising children. But I think that time management is key. On Saturdays when I go home, I block time out in my calendar when nobody can reach me. This is my children's time. In fact, yes. My children will say, no, Mom, this is our time. And I make sure that I'm spending with family. You need to make it work. Yeah. You need to also prioritize those who are most important to you. But it's about organizing, it's about being passionate and being honest also. Sometimes my children are able to follow me to work, and then they see the work that I do, they're very proud of the things that their mom is doing. So for the times where I have to travel on business trips, they're even the ones telling people that so my son says my mom is going to save the world. So that's an interesting way to put it.
Yes. That is really nice. I think you still find time to
yes.
the family and balance things up. So what are the emerging trends or challenges you see in the public service sector? And how do you think, how do you prepare for them?
I think one of the things that we're seeing for sure is that we need to be more flexible and agile, right? I mean, there was a time where you say, oh, it's the public service and it runs a certain way. But the world post-COVID has showed us that we need to now start to leverage technology to scale. We need to be responsive to new innovations, and we need to be innovative as a service, and that's the reason we've set up the Government Innovation Lab. We need to start to think in terms of tech. We need to start to think in terms of, okay, how do we leverage technology, to solve problems for our people? Again, at the end of the day, government is a service. How do we leverage technologies, such as the e-governance system, etc., to solve basic human problems for our people? So I think these are exciting times to be a public servant. Okay. And these are exciting times, to be a creative public servant, to be an innovative public servant, to think out of the box. How do we increase our internally generated revenue? What sort of technologies should we adopt? What should we be doing? How do we take our people into that 2050 future that His Excellency is promising, where he's saying that he wants Edo to be the best state to live and prosper in by 2050. So these are exciting times, and I think there's a lot of room and place for innovators.
We're talking about innovations. So what initiative have you implemented to promote innovation and creativity within this place? Or your team?
Yes. So with my team, yes, we leverage AI. One of the things I did as soon as I joined was to make sure that my team understood, at least had basic knowledge of artificial intelligence. Instead of complaining about the memo writing skills, I decided to say, how do I teach these people about AI? There are free resources that you can use to, to write, to optimize your writing, for example. So you will find that with my team, when we are given a lot of tasks to do, we produce at very short. We're able to get things done very quickly because we leverage AI in this organization. And because it was working so well for us, we decided to offer an introduction to artificial intelligence course to the entire service. We had at least over 300 people take part. in that course, and we're going to be running it next year. Just showing our people that with artificial intelligence, with technology, we can do so much more.
I believe in this organization, there are different departments.
Yes.
Okay. How do you ensure effective communication and collaboration across different departments and levels of your organization?
So we deliberately run a flat structure. I am very big on the culture of the organization. So here, I say we all have a growth mindset. We have our Joopsa'S core values. We have a Joopsa'S way of thinking. So I challenge my team to say, look, we are one of the custodians, if you like, of the transformation initiative of His Excellency. So people should not come to Joopsa'S and then we are behaving like just everybody else. People should come to Joopsa'S and meet problem solvers. People should come to Joopsa'S and find people that are enthusiastic about their work. People should come here and meet people that they say, oh, this is a different place. This is how we think. And to encourage that, it starts from me again, leadership. I have a flat structure. My team knows that anybody, no matter the rank or file, can knock on my door and come into my office to discuss anything. We leverage technology too. We have groups, we reward. I reward excellence. I value excellence greatly. So trust me, if you're doing something right, you will hear from me. I celebrate my team members on a daily basis. Sometimes it's just words of affirmation to say, I see you, you're doing well. I have people in my organization who tell me things like, before I started working for you, I couldn't even write properly, but I'm doing it now. So I put them in front. In fact, there's a class going up upstairs where one of my staff is facilitating. I've never done it before, but I have a microphone in his hand and he's doing it. And I sat in his class and I was very proud, of the work that he's doing. So we learn here by doing. We learn by doing.
I was looking through your profile. I saw that you mentor women and girls through social initiative called Thinking School. What's this all about?
So I have a community for women and girls, particularly women who have been in very violent domestic situations. I think that for everything that the person faces, especially women, it starts with your mind. The minute you are not conquered in your mind, nobody can conquer you. So my job is to ensure that I'm giving them the tools that they need to be able to overcome some of the challenges of the mind, and then just reach your truest potential. I believe that society benefits when you have women and girls who are contributing actively to society. So I'm very passionate about women issues, yes.
And girls. Okay, as a woman, are you looking at politics in the near future?
I get asked that question now because I work here, and my answer to that would be, why not? If an opportunity to serve were to present itself, why not? We need more women to participate in politics. We need women everywhere that decisions are made. So the simple answer would be yes.
If the opportunity
If there is the opportunity, absolutely yes. Apart from me, I think any woman watching this, if you have an opportunity to run for office, run. If you have an opportunity to lead an organization, lead. Women need to lead. It's that simple. We should be in every room where decisions are made.
So how, there are so many women out there who are faced with same challenging, especially if they don't have no one to encourage them. Like Cain, you encouraged that woman, you told her, come, you can do it.
Yes.
There is no superhuman anywhere. It's just for you to tell yourself, I can do it. And you put her through a process, and she was able to, now she can stand tall and make a presentation. So such women, they are limited. So what avenue, what encouragement, what avenues can we make available to them to encourage them and bring them in, kind of, rehabilitating their minds against what they think they cannot do?
Yes, I think it's very important for us to also be mindful of the way women were socialized, especially also of Nigerian extraction. Many of us were told that we should be seen and not heard. Our culture is a certain way. We're taught certain behaviors. I used to suffer myself from very big imposter syndrome. If you call me to speak in front of a crowd, it doesn't matter how much I know, I will be judging myself. In fact, there's a lot of research that shows that before a woman applies for a job, many times we have to be almost 10 times more qualified for us to apply, as compared to men who will just take, shoot their shot, like they say, and apply anyway. So we are not, we were socialized a certain way. And when I realized that, I became intentional about how I am learning and how I am also talking to myself, and the kind of self-help. There are a lot of self-help books, that you could purchase. As a woman, you need to be committed to learning. You need to be committed to lifelong learning. Read books, challenge yourself, do it afraid. The first time I was with a microphone, I was shaking. I wanted to pass out. I was sweating, but it was a scary experience. I say it all the time. But I said to myself, you know what, in you will stand and you will deliver. And I did. And the more you do it, everything is practice. Everything is practice.
I agree.
Everything is practice. Practice, practice, practice. You continue to practice and then you get it done. And just to say, I was appointed last year by His Excellency, but we started training fully in March of this year. So when I first came, instead of moving straight to training, what we did was to make sure that we were operationalizing, was having the document, we're putting together a structure so that when we started, it would just be plug and play, which is what we're enjoying now.
Okay, some women, because Eve, the program, is all about women. We talk about women. We are not feminists. We are not trying to collect what the men are doing, but Eve is a platform that encourages women. Lord, we see you with beam and light, and we're like, come on, we see what you are doing, and we are encouraged to see that there are women out there who still believe in themselves, who still believe, no, if a man is a governor, I can also be a governor. If a man is a president, I can also be a president. So there are no limitations to being a woman. So it's not our fault that we are women. So now, when we are leaving Jobaman to the public service, I believe there were some persons that were looking up to you there. Now you left them and you moved to the so such persons, are you still carrying them in mentoring?
Absolutely. I am a product of good mentors, so I am very big on mentoring. In fact, I say with relationships that good relationships never end, especially now that we have technology. So I still have my online classes. I still mentor women and girls from all over the world, because it's something that I'm very passionate about. I say it all the time, we need women in every room where decisions are made. We need it as a matter of urgency because it helps society, it brings balance. There are perspectives that women have that a man might not have. And the order of nature is balanced. When society is skewed in one direction, it causes anarchy. So it is in everybody's interest, in the man's interest, in the woman's interest, to have women participate, whether it's politics, whether it's in the public sector, whether it's in the private sector, whether it's in boardrooms. Women should exist everywhere that decisions are made. And I do, yes, I have a community of women. I know that if I look through my mentoring networks, I probably have over 200 women that I communicate with almost on a daily basis, just making sure, and they're female leaders. Because I say to myself, I lead leaders, I want to replicate so many like myself in every strata of society so that we become so much and our collective voice cannot be ignored.
Let's bring it now to the Public Service Academy. People come from all sorts of across the states, but a question was raised at the open house experience, Joopsa'S experience, that the local government, at the local government level, participants are not really encouraged. So these women at the local government level, how do they benefit? How do you ensure that they are carried along? Her Excellency, Best Joopsa'S, she is, anything that has to do with women, she's into it and say, oh, but the fact that you are a woman does not limit you. So those women at the grassroots, how do they come, how do you ensure that you bring them to benefit from what is going on at Joopsa'S?
Thank you so much for mentioning Her Excellency and her work. She's one of my role models for sure, very strong, amiable woman,
yeah.
Absolutely strong woman. So for us, we've taken a phased approach. Because Joopsa'S is not something that we hope will die with His Excellency, we want it to be a brand that continues. We have focused purposely, if you like, on the executive arm of government in the first instance. We have done training at local government level, we have. But we will scale that in the coming years. Yes, we agree that whatever it is that we're doing must reach the grassroots, and it's something that we have in our 5-year plan.
You said something very humorous the last time I was here. You said, if after some years and you're out of here, you said to come back and find out that this place is in total mess, and this, you see, you're going to carry placards.
I know.
We don't go agree. We don't go agree. What happened to this place?
Yes.
What happened to this place?
I will challenge any
How do you
government
think you are going to achieve that, especially if the government that is going to be in power then is not on your side? So how you intend to achieve that?
So one of the things that I feel like I'm blessed with, and I think all women are blessed with, is that we have a voice. Often that voice has been silenced. But you see, the minute a woman discovers her voice, there's nothing that can stop her. So I'm not worried in that sense. I feel like Edo has gotten to the point where whoever succeeds is governor. I know that the people of Edo State, we are aspirational people. Whoever is going to take over from our governor is going to be somebody that has the mind of development. I don't think, we are going to be looking to put somebody there who is not about our progress. So I have a lot of comfort in that whoever takes over will be interested in Joopsa'S. But in the unlikely chance that that is not the case, we have our voice, right? And we will use our voice, and we will continue to use our voice until we get the society of our dreams. Because what a woman has that cannot be silenced is her voice.
So the carrying of placards, is it that you are going to bring in some women? Come, I was a woman holding this position as a Director General, and I knew what I did while I was here, and I knew the amount of money that went into this place, courtesy of His Excellency Governor Golden Obaseki. Now I am here. Look at what has gone wrong. What happened? The incumbent has ensured that Joopsa'S is no longer in existence. Are you going to call them? Please, let's come and bring this plaster. Oh, we don't agree. Joopsa'S must be put on its way to again to train people.
Yeah, so one thing, again, just talking about myself and talking about women, is beyond having our voice, we know how to get things done. We know how to get results. So if I were faced with that situation, best believe that whatever will give me the outcome that I want would be the strategy that I will be deploying. So if it's the placard strategy that will get the outcome, if it's negotiating with whoever is the government in power, if it's having conversation, if it's being on billboard, whatever it is to get the outcome that we want, because I have an outcome mindset, is definitely what we're going to do. But like I said earlier, this woman has a voice, similar to the other woman who is listening to me. And when a woman chooses to use her voice, society is the better for it.
Okay. Can you differentiate between being in the private and public sector? Is there a difference?
I think there are a few differences between the private and the public sector in terms of the processes and how things work. But in terms of the scale of impact, I don't know of any private sector job that has the potential to change the lives of so many people like government, right? Government is the enabler. You allow society work. And so I say it all the time, I feel very privileged to have this role, to be able to have impacted over 7,000 civil and public servants.
Really amazing.
It's amazing. Thank you for saying that. And the shared impact. Imagine 5 years of Joopsa'S, when you now have civil and public servants who are professionals, who can think strategically, who are project managers. The multiplier effect on society will be enormous. So for me, it's there are differences between the private and the public sector, but I'm very thankful for the role that I have now in terms of the scale of impact and the things that we're able to achieve.
Thank you so much for being on the program.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, that is it on Eve. We come your way again, same time next week, and don't forget that as a woman, your voice is your weapon. Your voice is that tool you use to press home your demands. So don't limit yourself.